Hello and welcome to another Paramics Discovery video tutorial where we look at the new features which have come to Paramics Discovery 25, which was released in November 2021. Now in this video tutorial today we're going to be looking at passing improvements which have been made in Paramics Discovery. You'll be able to see the changes we've made behind the scenes as well as in the user interface to improve the passing within Paramics Discovery and help you understand how it works more effectively. So let's jump straight in. I've got a model in front of me which I'm going to be using to demonstrate the passing improvements which we've made to Paramics Discovery in version 25. And if I zoom out of this model a little bit, you see it's actually a series of lots of little models. And what you'll notice is there's various incidents and also PT stops in these models. So what we're looking at here is a combination or different combinations of PT stops and incidents in models and how the vehicles now react and respond to PT stops and incidents. Because really, in essence, what we're talking about when we talk about the passing improvements is the ability to pass a stationary vehicle. So let's get the model running and we'll start to look at some of the behavior and explore this a little bit further. So I've got several buses or public transport in this first model, and you can see some of them are stopping at PT stop 2 here, and others will be stopping at PT stop 1 in this model. Okay, now the first thing to note is if I select a bus and I've got my vehicle awareness toggled on, and I do that from the toolbar button up here, then I will receive a flag which tells me if the bus is going to stop at the next bus stop. So that's a new feature which has come in through this vehicle awareness. I'm being told that this bus will stop at the PT stop 2, and as I step it forward I can see that that is the case. Okay, so I've got my bus stopped there. I've got another vehicle here coming up behind the bus, and presumably it's going to want to pass the bus. Now the dwell times that we've put on these buses are quite long, so we actually get them stopping here for a while to see some passing behavior. So if I select this vehicle and step it forward, I'm going to be able to get some information about this car as well. Now at the moment it's telling me that it's following this bus, and it's far enough away at the minute not to have the desire to pass, but as I move it on a little bit further you can see that following flag disappeared. It's realizing that the bus is stationary and it wants to make a passing maneuver, and it begins to move out into lane 2 to make that passing maneuver. And now we see another line drawn from this vehicle, and if we follow that green line down, it's now following this bus which is just pulling out from its bus stop further down. And so I'll just step this forward, and so we can see our car here is nicely passing the bus. It's not really having to slow down at all, and it's now following the vehicle in front, and on it goes. And so what we should be seeing here then is as the buses stop, we get some nice smooth passing behavior happening, and we also get the information through the vehicle awareness about the passing that is taking place. So there's a bit of a combination of improvements here. Some of them are behind the scenes with a smoother passing behavior, and that's particularly when vehicles get quite close to the buses and actually slow down and then need to pull out, and we'll try and capture some of those in a minute. And the other improvement then is the flags which are drawn on the vehicles which show us what they're doing and what their decision is. Now here's an interesting example. We've got the car, it's behind the bus, and it's just realized that the bus is stopping here. So it's got that following flag on, it was following the bus, but the bus is stopping, and now it's going to develop a desire to pass the bus. But it's also then looking onto lane 2 here to see what's coming and whether it can make the maneuver into lane 2. And as we step this on, we can see the flag here which is saying it was considering this vehicle for gap acceptance. It's now recognizing that if it pulled out it would collide with this vehicle, and so it's going to let that one pass. And then it will be doing the same with the next vehicle. It's considering the gap acceptance decision, and again it's decided it would collide with that vehicle if it pulled out, so it's letting that one pass. And now with this bus in lane 1, it's also considering this, but the car has decided it can pull out safely in front of the bus, coming behind and past this bus in front, and off it goes. And that's quite a nice movement. Okay, so that's bus stops, and there's a similar principle then when it comes to incidents. So if we have a look at our model just further along, we can see an incident happening, and you can see the length of time that incident's happening, and you're getting a similar type of behavior where the vehicles are able to pass that incident. You can see that they're not colliding with one another or getting stuck. They're making decisions about the gap that they can choose and the collision points, and you can see the transparency of those decisions by clicking on the vehicles. And we can see that there's a nice realistic behavior happening. So that was an incident in lane 1, but if I actually move down the track a little bit here, we can see an incident in lane 2, and the similar principle applies for vehicles moving from lane 2 back into lane 1. Okay, so we've got another example here within the same model, and this time we're just looking at incidents which occur across multiple lanes. And so we can see in this model we've got 2 incidents happening in lane 2 and lane 3, and this might represent something happening across both those lanes. It's not necessarily 2 separate incidents. And then we're looking at how the passing behavior occurs in response to that. So you can see there's quite a bit more congestion here, and there's more maneuvering going on. And we've done some work behind the scenes to improve this, to reduce any collisions that might have happened previously, and to make sure that this traffic can get past the incident. Now, this is a point where I'll just pause the model and flag up a new feature which we've brought into the settings within Paramics Discovery version 25. If I go to Model and Settings, and the behavior section in here, we've got this new flag which says more passing. Now, in previous versions of Paramics Discovery, you may have had vehicles getting stuck behind vehicles that had stopped, like buses or incidents. And that would happen because sometimes you might get a less aggressive vehicle sitting behind a more aggressive vehicle, and so the less aggressive vehicle would see the more aggressive vehicle as one that it shouldn't pass because it's more aggressive. We've now got this option here called more passing, and if I toggle that on to say true, I get some information about that at the bottom. It says it allows vehicles to move to an outside lane to pass vehicles ahead with equal or greater aggression if they have a lower speed. So it's essentially saying that it doesn't matter too much what the aggression is anymore. If the vehicle has a lower speed, then you do have the opportunity to pass it. And of course, if a vehicle is stopped, like being at a bus stop or at an incident, then it will have a lower speed because the speed will be 0, and therefore the vehicles behind will have the opportunity to pass. So I'll just run this simulation on again. I'm going to, in fact, toggle that on as true and just close that and save and refresh, and then restart the simulation. We'll just load a bit of traffic on and then reduce the speed. And we'll have a look a little bit further down the track here at the incident occurring at this location. Now, previously, you might have had vehicles getting stuck in here and unable to move out. But that won't be the case anymore. Now, they might stop in there because there's other vehicles coming down in lane 3 or in lane 2, and therefore they're having to wait, but they won't get stuck permanently once the traffic begins to clear. They will actually move out of those positions with that new settings toggle that we've put on there as true. Okay, so that's a little extra feature that we've added for passing behavior. Thank you so much for joining us today for another video tutorial as we've looked at the passing improvements which have come into Paramics Discovery 25. We've looked at some of the vehicle behavior improvements behind the scenes and also changes in the user interface which make it easier for you to see how vehicles are behaving and making the choices that they're making on the network. Now we're going to build on this next week when we look at overtaking improvements, and then subsequently we're going to be looking at vehicle events and really seeing in detail how vehicles choose their lane choice and other events as they journey through the network. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.